Hi guys, and welcome back to Armoured Warfare, and those of you that have been watching my World of Tanks videos as well will know that I've had to have sort of a bit of an absence from playing games recently, the last couple of weeks. But back up and running now, so I thought I'd upload a Armoured Warfare video and basically show off the Fox tanks that came on a couple of weeks back. They're on the store at the moment, and I'm going to do it. I didn't know whether to do it in one video, which would have been about 45 minutes long, or whether to do it in three separate shorter ones. So I've decided to do it in three separate shorter ones. Each one just with a a decent match in each of the tanks. Now, the Fox tanks, they're available from the PlayStation Store at the moment, and basically what they are skinned versions of premium tanks that are already available in game, similar to the Shark tanks, but they were skinned versions. Well, they were skinned premium versions of Tech Tree tanks that were in the game, so they had all the benefits of a premium tank, but they were essentially fully upgraded Tech Tree ones. But they had, like I say, those benefits, but they were decently priced and everything. And if you really liked those vehicles, like the Stingray 2 was one of them, the T80U I believe was another one, then you could have them and basically earn a lot of extra silver in them and what have you. Now, these ones, like I say, they're not Tech Tree ones. Well, technically they are, because the premiums that are in the Tech Tree, but they are premium vehicles originally. And I was just wondering. I mean, basically, I was wondering if there were going to be any more than buying them from the Tech Tree, but they're not. They're essentially the same price as it would be to put the gold on and buy them from, buy the plain version from the Tech Tree, but you get a nice funky camouflage on these. And as well, they're available in various sort of packages on the PlayStation Store with premium time and loot crates, etc. in with them. But this one is Tier 4 TD. It's the AMX-10P PAC 90, I believe, if this is the right title for it. And yeah, quite a capable Tier 4 TD. Now, I don't really play many TDs. I've played a few. I've got the LAV 300, I think, which is a Tier 4 Tech Tree vehicle. And even though I play this one a bit like a donkey at first here, this is quite a capable Tier 4 TD. Like I say, it's a 90mm gun. The gun itself is very comparable to that on the LAV 300, apart from, I think, if I remember rightly, the LAV 300 gets 5 more pen on its armor piercing rounds, which is I think 255mm, but this gets a lot more on its heat rounds, which is I think 310mm if I remember correctly, whereas on the LAV it's 280. But again, I was just getting used to everything in this game. These videos are not really reviews as such. I was just getting used to everything in the game and what have you, and then I've had to take a bit of an absence, so I'm just picking it back up again over the next couple of days before I start sort of feeling comfortable with actually reviewing these tanks and comparing them to other ones. So done a bit of research. Like I say, this one is tracked though, as opposed to wheeled. I know there's some people that don't mind either tracked or wheeled vehicles, when I can get my words out. Some people just prefer the tracked ones. This might be a TD for you, but it earned me some decent money. I had fun playing it, and it's quite nimble. It turns quite nicely. I like the fact, and again, I'm a little bit behind with this, but I know they did the update. In fact, it was just the last time I played it, I think they'd done the update, which stops it disconnecting me. And they also made it so that you don't lose as much speed when you turn when you're driving forwards, which is nice. And that's something I think that was needed. But this also, and I didn't realise this until after the match, this has some cracking HE rounds on it, or they seem to anyway. Some decent damage. Even if you don't pen, you can still do up to 400 and something damage. The high explosive fragmentation, I think it calls it. Oh, I think I just lit his ammo rack up there. So yeah, it does have some decent HE, and the panelling on the front, the sort of steel panel on the front, it does have very, very limited armour. It really does. The turret may stop some small arms fire. Your sort of 20mm autocannons maybe, but I wouldn't count on it. I'd just try and stay out of the way and take that more typical TD role. Although it can circle some of the slower tanks, especially when it's top tier as I am here. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying playing in it. Like I said before, it's earning decent money. The HE is quite nice on this tank, and it's got a decent rate of fire. I mean, damage-wise, I think it is very comparable to the LAV 300. Very average sort of damage for a, tier 4 TD in this game, or seemingly, not for a tier 4 TD, because there are some TDs that have obviously got rockets, missiles, whatever you want to call them. Rockets, that's a bit like, yeah. Okay, yeah, missiles. But anyway. So, I mean, for the cannon-based or the gun-based TDs, it's, quite average damage, but yeah, I've enjoyed it. That steel plating can occasionally block armor-piercing rounds. I've not had it do it for me while I've been driving it, but when I've been in other games and I've seen the AI versions of these and I've sort of shot at it and hit that plate by accident, the armor piercing has basically failed to fuse because of the angle. But again, it's not something you want to rely on. It is more a sort of stay out of the way in the first place kind of TD. But it's nice, it's nimble. It's got the advantage over the wheeled vehicles where you don't have to be moving to actually turn your hull, which is one advantage track vehicles have over the wheeled ones. Wheeled ones are normally a lot quicker though. So it is sort of swings and roundabouts. But yeah, I just thought I'd, like I say, show these off a little bit while the opportunity is there, while they're still in the store. And yeah, like I say, I enjoyed it. The other Fox vehicles are the XM1, which obviously I will do in another video, which is the M1 Abrams original prototype, and now if I can get the numbers right, the M113ATGM I think is the right one, which is tier 8. Now that one I did sort of step out of my comfort zone a little bit, so I'll do my best with the review. Well, I'll do my best talking about that one. But this is, I'm not enjoying the LAV 300. I don't know why. I'm just not particularly enjoying it. And I've always moaned about the gun on it, just having kind of lower pen. And that's why I must admit I was a bit skeptical about this one at first, because it's a very similar gun. But seeing that it's got that slightly higher pen, it's not a lot. I mean, it's only what, 20mm extra on the heat, but that can make a big difference in game to whether you're going to pen a target or bounce. And I found this was quite a nice little tank for sort of hunting down other TDs, and for hunting down some of the light tanks and some AFVs as well. It's quite a nice little sort of hunter, on top of your sort of more traditional, hide and shoot TD. And I managed to get him. I did take a bit of damage there, as you can see. Like I say, it's got an military aluminium hull, so it's very, very thinly armoured hull. The turret, I think it says, is steel, but it's still, again, very thinly armoured. And you'll see here how, yeah, when I stopped crashing into stuff, how I can actually circle this tank, the Type 79, with his slower turret, and I do make a bit of a mistake. I mean, if he'd have possibly started turning his hull and his turret the other way, he might have caught me. This is where I make a mistake, because he's backing up against the rocks, so I started to reverse back, to try and get around the other way and hopefully get past his gun, but it didn't reverse quick enough. That's something I probably should have tested out, its reverse speed, before I tried to do something like that. Now, the other thing that I was quite pleasantly surprised about with this tank was the price as well. Now, in the tech tree, it's cheap enough in the tech tree, it's 1,000 gold. And I know I mentioned the price earlier, and I did expect them to be a bit more than the sort of clean or the plain versions in the tech tree. But if you went onto the store to put 1,000 gold on your account, it would cost you, well, on the British store, it would cost you £4.49, so £4.50. I'm not sure what it is on the American store in dollars or in euros on the sort of European store. I'm not really too sure, but it'll be similar sort of equivalent, with exchange rates and what have you. And when I went to look at this on the store, there's the package on its own, just the tank, it was $3.99, so a shade under £4. I know it's only 50p cheaper, but it's still cheaper, and it was still a pleasant surprise. So it's a nice, cheap little run around. Tier 4, so You can still go into the sort of battle mode, you know, 15 on 15 with it, because you have to be tier 4 to do that. But it's not too high a tier that you're up against really tough things all the time, and it's not too low a tier that you're up against, you know, sort of fast paper tanks. It's just a nice tier, I think, to earn a bit of money at tier 4. And a very, like I said before, a very nice price at, you know, £4. Can't really grumble at that. If you're starting out, if you're starting out on this, it's quite a nice starting premium. If you're liking your TDs, I mean, I say if you're starting out, TDs, they can be a bit trickier to get used to because they are, you know, they are unforgiving armor-wise. But if you're liking your TDs, you're looking for your sort of first premium vehicle to start earning a bit of extra cash in, it might be one to have a look at. You know, £4 you can't go wrong. And same with the other ones, the XM1, I'll talk about a bit more about that, but that's quite cheap as well. I think that's in there at £13, which is again about what it would cost you to put 3,250 gold on for the standard one. The one that is a bit more expensive, there's quite a jump up from tier 6, you know, at £13 for a tier 6, up to I think it's £37 for the tier 8. So there is a bit of a big jump there, and that's the M113 ATGM. But again, that's 9,000 gold. It's going to cost you about the same to put the gold on and buy the clean version as it is to buy that one. It is just a bit of a big jump in price from tier 6 to 8. And yeah, we might have actually, yeah, we turned it around, I think, by this point, and it's looking as though it might be a decent win. I stuck some pillboxes down behind the enemy cap, or what would be the enemy cap, and I'm going to try and interrupt this guy from getting that airstrike. Hopefully I can get there in time, if I can just spot him. But it's at the point where, you know, as you know, the fog moved in and your view range is restricted. I don't know if I did quite manage to interrupt there, or if he got it, but he might not have a chance to use it. Fingers crossed. And you can see there, I think, when he hit me there, I think he might have hit that steel plate at the top and it didn't seem to do anything, so I might have been slightly wrong with that one, so it did seem to happen to me at some point. So I mean, in general, just a bit of a roundup. Very very fun, capable tier 4 TD, very comparable to the tech tree, some of the tech tree TDs that are in the game. You know, it doesn't seem much better or worse. Damage wise, I think it's about the same as well as like the LAV 300, but you just get that little bit extra pen on your heat rounds, which is very, very welcome, and you get some very nice HE rounds as well. So there you go, the AMX-10P PAC 90 Fox version. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's informed you a little bit, or at least, you know, if you were thinking about getting it or looking at possibly getting it, maybe helped you one way or the other, whether to say, yeah, I'll get that, or no, I'll leave it and look for something else. But there you go. Anyway, I'll be back with another video, so until then, take care of that, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.